Como el Viento was born on a chilly morning in the month of March. His mother was a milk horse, as were her mother and her mother before that, trudging along from house to house, delivering milk to the children, waiting for Elmer, the elderly snow hare man. A few days after his birth, she resumed her role between the throngs of the milk cart. Kore was hungry. She soon returned about noon. "Where did you go? Why did you leave before it became light?" he asked her after she filled his belly with her milk. She stroked him with her nose and smiled. "I have a very honorable profession. I am a milk horse." "What is a milk horse?" he burped. How could she give away her milk and still have enough left for him? "The master milks the cows. He bottles the milk, and then he and I bring it to the children." "What do the children do with it?" "Do they drink it like I do?" Koi asked. He blinked, his eyelids becoming heavy. His mother lay down on the straw bed the master provided for her and her colt. Snuggling up by her side, he listened to the beating of her heart. "Yes, they drink it. It helps them grow to be big," she said. "Now go to sleep, little one." She lay her neck on his back to protect Kore from the cold. Closing his eyes, he dreamed. In his dream, he stood on a hill. Below him was a circle. People were walking around. In a few minutes, 7 horses led by 7 men came to the edge of the circle. Suddenly, Kore was one horse being led onto the track. He turned his head and saw a rider on his back. A small man in a shining white suit and a small cap. He had a set of glasses positioned above his eyes. He leaned down and whispered in Kore's ear, "You are the best horse. Hold back and learn to go. I'll tell you when you fly." He patted the horse on the neck. They and the riders were loaded in a long cage big enough for all 7 horses. The horse beside him did a double take. "Hey, fellows, look! It's the milk horse!" "We bring the milk to the children," Kore said. "What do you do?" "We race," the other horse shouted. The gates opened and he was gone. Despite Kore's efforts to keep up, dirt from the other horses filled his mouth, his eyes, and clogged his nose. Soon they were thundering down the backstretch. Kore could barely keep up. The man on his back leaned over and shouted in his ear, "Now, Kores, show them what you can do." The young horse felt a burst of energy surge through him. Soon, he felt as if he was flying. His hooves were a blur. He passed the 6th horse, the 5th horse, and he passed the 6th horse, the 5th, the 4th, and was closing on the 1st horse when he woke up, his hooves running fast, going nowhere. Kore woke up and realized his mother had left. He lay on the warmth where she had lay in. He thought about the dream. Could he be a racehorse? Kore wandered out of the barn and into the pasture. He watched the sunrise. In his heart, he made the determination to become a racehorse. He ran around the field, huffing and puffing. He came to a halt by the fence. A huge bull looked up. He smiled. Despite the reputation of bulls being nasty and mean, Lou was pretty mild-mannered. "Well, hello there, young feller. You must be Maggie's colt," He and Kore touched noses. My mommy pulls the milk cart, Kore said. He spit his spindly legs unsteady after his run. Shut the fuck up. I don't fucking care about your bullshit, man. You fucking saying annoying ass fucking shit. One more fucking word out of it. Yeah. Anyways, man. Yup, that's Maggie, all right. Been doing that for years. At least as long as I've been here. Name's Lou, by the way. My mommy said my name is Kore. Ah, a Spanish name. Kore como el viento. Means run like the wind. The old bull said, nodding his head. Like this. Runs like the wind, but I can't run like the wind. I can barely stand up. The old bull laughed. But you will, my young friend, you will. Tell you what, I'll help you. You will. The fuck you wrote this? Oh, that would be great. But how will you do that? Kore said. I will meet you here each morning, and I will give you pointers from the great racehorses I have known. Lou smiled. We will make your name fit. Kore smiled. And so they did. Each morning, just after daylight, they met at the fence. The first morning, Lou had him walk in a circle. When he returned, Lou said, now do it again. Can I run? Kore said, eager to show Lou what he could do. Not yet. Now, as you walk, look for holes and dips in the ground. Kore walked the circle, noting dips and holes. Once more, he returned to the fence. One more time. But this time, you find a smooth path level. A good to run on. This time, Kore drug his feet. This was getting boring. Lou smiled at the colt, coming even with the bull. Kore said, now what would... Go! Lou bellowed, and interrupting him, because this is written by a really smart person. Kore stared at him, expecting further instructions. Go, go, go! Kore ran his tail straight out behind him. It felt good. He breathed deep of the meadow air. The sun warmed his back. He stirred up a bunch of butterflies. Kore stumbled, hitting a hole he had forgotten about. He limped back over to the fence. Lou smiled for the 5... When did that come up? Like a couple seconds ago. Kore stumbled, hitting a hole he had forgotten about. He limped back over to the fence. Lou smiled for the 50,000th time. Found a hole, huh? Yeah, I got off the path. Kore said, hanging his head. Want to quit? Lou said. No. Kore almost shouted. Good. Then do it again, Lou said, smiling. Why is he always smiling? He can't talk unless he's smiling.
He's not smiling.
Holy fuck, this story is insane. The old bull knew that if he could build up the whole spirit, it would be more valuable to him than being the fastest horse on the track. A colt is a baby horse. So Kore did it again and again and again until his mommy came home. The next day, he met the bull at the fence every morning during the summer. The next day, he met the bull at the fence. And every morning during the summer. He did that the next day. The next day, he met the bull at the fence every morning during the entire summer, but he only did that the next day. Corey kept running until he exhausted himself. The young horse loved running. He did not know if he was fast or slow. Yet the old bull knew. He watched the young horse with a critical eye. The old milkman knew. With his arms at the gate to the pasture, Elmer watched and smiled. On the milk route, he talked to his horse. Maggie listened and dreamed. Her son, the racehorse.
What?
In the spring, when Corey was a year old, Elmer placed him on the milk cart. He smiled as he thought about what he was going to do. One farm he visited 2 times a week was Hill Bear Acres. He delivered milk and sometimes cream. Corey hated the slow place. He wanted to run, to fly as he had in the pasture. Yet Lou and his mother urged him to go slow. If you upset the milk cart, you will lose the milk and the children will cry. So Kodak tried to enjoy the morning. He looked at the fields, at the other horses plowing, others carrying riders coming up the lane to Hill Bear Acres. His ears perked up. On a track in one field, a beautiful filly ran. Seeing Kore, she smiled at him and picked up speed. Kore's feet itched. He danced in place. Easy, fella. Don't give yourself away, Elmer whispered. Something was going on, and Kore wasn't sure what it was. The rider brought the filly to the fence of the net track. Morning, Elmer. New horse? Ken Phillips said. The owner of Hillbaker Acres, Ken said. Ken inherited the farm from his father. Morning, Elmer. New horse? Ken Phillips said. The owner of Hillbaker Acres, Ken said. Ken inherited the farm from his father. Morning, Elmer. New horse? Ken Phillips said. The owner of Hill Bear Acres, Ken said. Ken inherited the farm from his father. Maggie's youngster, Elmer said, patting Kore on the neck. Morning, Elmer. New horse? Ken Phillips said. The owner of Hill Bear Acres, Ken said. Ken inherited the farm from his father. Maggie's youngster, Elmer said, patting Kore on the neck. Thought I'd try him on the milk cart. Kore danced in place. Wants to run. This is Sierra. Tell you what, Ken said, rubbing his chin. Unharness him and let him run around the track with her. Ken laughed. Wear him out. You sure? Elmer said. Sure. Give him a run for his money or hay, Ken said. He called to a small man over by the barn. Bob, put a saddle on his horse. Mucking out the stable, Bob was glad for a little relief. 10 minutes later, Kore was standing beside the filly. Elmer leaned over and whispered in Kore's ear, "Show them what you can do, Lightning." Kore's ears came forward. Lightning? He called me Lightning, Kore thought. Ken leaned over the fence, a white cloth in his hand. "Go!" he shouted, bringing the cloth down. In his mind, Kore heard Lou shouting, "Go." "Boy, this is fun, isn't it?" Kore said, matching the filly. Filly is a young female horse. Kore ran shoulder to shoulder. They entered the backstretch. "This is a race, handsome. We see who can cross the finish line first," she said. "Oh, okay, I guess I better do that." Kore pulled away. He came around the last turn, flying several lengths ahead of her. Ken stood with his mouth open. Kore thundered across the finish line. Kore thundered across the finish line. Crossed. Not a cross, but a crossed the finish line. He came back and smiled at Sierra. "Boy, that was fun." Breathing hard, Sierra just looked at him. Ken turned to Elmer. "You fooled me." Elmer smiled. "Nope. This is Maggie's colt. I'll buy him from you. We'll train him and enter him in the Derby." Ken said. "Well now," Elmer said, rubbing his chin. Again, "I don't know. I'm kind of fond of this young fella." "I'll give you 50,000, Ken said.
God damn.
"That's not..."
For a horse?
"I could sure use the money, but he'd miss his mama." Elmer said, "I was thinking of retiring. We'll bring him over every once in a while for a visit." Ken said, determined to have the horse. So, this is the part of the story of how Kore Como El Viento, renamed Lightning Strikes, became the Triple Crown winner. The rest is documented in the annals of history. Maggie and Lou knew it all along, how a milk horse had become a Triple Crown winner.
Triple Crown.
The end.
Winner.
That's the end. Smiled. Found a hole, huh? Oh. And that was
Milk Horse.
that was Milk Horse by Darrell Case. I hope you guys like my review of Milk Horse.
Like, share, and subscribe.
I read it exactly as it was typed.